Welcome back to Leeds Lately. This video is going to be about a potential number 10 signing that I think Leeds should really go for. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that big red button down below. But last night, I don't know if you'll have seen, I was on Joe's channel. We were on the final word, Lockie, Joe, me. And we're talking about what we kind of need with these 4 signings that we've been somewhat promised. And for me, and I said this last night, my main target needs to be a number 10 because the way that we've been playing since we've got rid of GEORGINIO Rutte, or since he's gone, not got rid of, because we didn't want him to go, we have been struggling a lot to create things. That West Brom game, it really highlighted a need to have somebody in that midfield who can carry the ball and can play decent passes in behind. And can spread the play, really, and be an all-round, just an actual number 10, which I'm not blaming Joel Peru for. It's not his fault that he's not a number 10. He's a striker, and like Lockie said last night as well, it's not a system that particularly suits him. I've come around to that kind of viewpoint as well. Now, originally, I thought it would suit him. I thought that him being able to actually play in the number 9 role would suit him a little bit more than playing in the 10 does, at least. But him drifting from side to side, making runs would open up space for the number 10s to run in behind. Hasn't necessarily worked out like that so far, and he was a real sticking point for our counter-attacks against West Brom. So for me, we have to sign a number 10, and we have to sign a number 10 who's good enough to try and drive us forward. Now, my primary target would have been somebody called Gus Till, and he does play for PSV in the Eredevise, but they have literally just won the league last season. They'll be playing Champions League football this season. There's no way that somebody like him is going to want to come to the Championship. Much like, and Lockie said this as well, Calvin Stengs, it's really, really a far-fetched situation that he might come to Leeds. He's playing in the Eredivise for Feyenoord, so I wouldn't imagine that a move to Leeds would be his ideal thing. However, I have found a player who plays for FC Twente in the Eredivise who is kind of Gus Till, but kind of your light version, L-I-T-E, light version. But having said that, still very, very good. Now, he is only 22 years old. He plays for FC Twente, like I said, and let's have a look at his goals from the last couple of seasons. So this season, obviously, it's only just started, so he's played one game and got 1 goal. Last season, 23-24 for FC Twente, 17 goals and 3 assists in 32 games. So 20 goal contributions, 20 goal involvements in 32 games. Very, very good from him. The season before that was his first season at FC Twente, and he got 6 goals and 1 assist, and he must have only been 20 years old at the time. And before that, he played for ADO Den Haag, and he scored 15 and assisted 4. So over the last couple of seasons, he scored over 30 goals from attacking midfield, and he's got over 10 assists as well. So it's a very decent return. Now, his assists could potentially be high. You'd go, okay, well, I'd like those to be higher. But he is more of a player who he's your player who comes and finishes things off. He's a number 10 who comes forward from midfield and goes and finishes things off. He is a lot of the time, from what I've seen, not involved in the pass that leads to the goal, but he's involved in kind of the build-up play. He likes to pick up the ball a little bit deeper, like a lot of the players that we've seen playing against us. John Swift, for one, I know he wasn't exactly playing like this, but he did drop a little bit deeper, and then he played balls forward. The kind of player that, I don't even know if I mentioned his name, Sam Steijn from FC Twente. I don't even know if I'd mentioned that. But anyway, he's the type of player who likes to pick up the ball in fairly deep areas and play the ball out to the wings. Now, this is something that I think could improve Leeds massively on the counter-attack, because at the moment, like I said, you've got Joel Peru playing in that role who's a little bit of a sticking point. And if the ball can come into a midfielder's feet, an attacking midfielder's feet, somebody like Sam Steijn, not sure on the pronunciation yet, but if you can get the ball into his feet and he turns and he looks up, he's got the passing range then to play the ball down the line to a Nonto, to play the ball down the line to a Dan James. He's the type of player where if he receives the ball to his feet in midfield, the other players around him can go. They can go, okay, he's got the ball, let's make runs. Whereas when Joel Peru gets it, a lot of them are like, okay, we're going to have to come short for him because his kind of weakness is that long passing game. He doesn't really attempt them. And so everybody's got to come around and help him. Whereas somebody like Sam Steijn, well capable of turning a player and playing a ball into the space for somebody like Dan James or Nonto to get on the end of. So that's the first thing about him. He likes to start the counter-attacks. He likes to start those moves off from midfield. So that's a really good aspect of his game. The other thing is as well, why he's then not necessarily involved as much in the creation of the actual chance itself is because he then loves to arrive late in the box and try to get on the end of things. So he's the type of player where you can fully see him getting a boatload of goals because he is coming from midfield, arriving late in the box, making those third man runs. He likes to stay central a lot of the time, but then that might allow somebody like Mateo Joseph or somebody like Nonto, whoever it is, to drift into the half space to try and create that space through the middle by dragging defenders away for the number 10 in Sam Steijn to come through the middle and score his goals. Let's not forget, last season he scored, 17 goals and got 3 assists. He is a goal scorer. He likes to sit on the edge of the box when the ball comes in. When the ball's cut back, he likes to sit on the edge of the box and then slowly walk into the box for that ball to come to him, drift back to him and him to slot it away. He likes to pick up those positions. He's the type of player who, I've talked about this before, sometimes the most space you can give yourself in the box in an attacking situation is by standing still, because everybody else is moving around you, everybody else is trying to readjust their position to the perfect place. Sometimes you can just stand still, everybody will drift away from you and open up that space. He's the type of player who loves to do that. So he's scored a lot of goals. He's not necessarily in a similar mold to Jorginho at all in terms of his playing style. He's not a dribbler, but he can go past a man if he needs to. And as well, I think the thing is he's good at those long passes, bringing other people into play, setting off those counterattacks and risk-taking passes, which is what we need a little bit more of. So that's what I think's good about him. So let's talk a little bit about his statistics, because they don't necessarily look like the best thing in the world. When you look at his goals and shots and things compared to other attacking midfielders and wingers, he's way up there. Goals total, non-penalty goals, 0.57 per 90 minutes, puts him in the 98th percentile. So he's in the top 2% of goal scorers. We know that from the fact he scored 17 goals. It's really, really good. A really good return for an attacking midfielder. His shots that he's had in total, 3.32 per 90 minutes, puts him in the 94th percentile. So it's really, really good. Having said that, this is what I'm talking about in terms of statistics don't always show you the full story. So somebody like him, his assists are pretty low actually, and his shot creating actions are low. 2.68 per 90 puts him in the 19th percentile. So really low down there, but creating nearly 3 chances per 90. But he's the one to go and finish them off as well. When you actually see that his touches in the attacking penalty area, 5.25 per 90, and that's the 86th percentile, he's more likely to want to be on the end of things. Now, this is where it could slightly be an issue for Leeds, because I do feel like there's a certain expectation and requirement for this number 10 that we bring in to be able to create the chances. And Sam Steijn is certainly a different type of attacking midfielder. I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's the type of move that Leeds might potentially go for, bringing somebody like him in, because I do think he starts off those moves. He'll do better than Joel Peru would do in those moments. And he gets on the end of things as well, making those third man runs into the box. But if we did bring somebody like him in, it would put the onus on some of the players around him, like Nonto, like Dan James, to be a little bit more creative to try and create things, and that could cause issues for us. So this one's the one to take with a pinch of salt, but I do think that he would be a decent player. Again, if you look at his passes attempted and his pass completion rate, it's all fairly down there. 27 passes attempted per 90 puts him in the 20th percentile. It's really low. Pass completion rate 73.3% puts him in the 40th percentile, so just below average for that. But again, I always say this, if you're taking risky passes, if you're trying to pass balls into the final third progressively, then you're obviously going to lose the ball more than you are if you're just playing sideways and backwards like we have been a lot of the time. Other than that, I think a lot of his statistics are pretty low down there. Progressive carries 1.04, in the third percentile, so the bottom 3% in terms of carrying the ball forward. But then if that's not his game, and he recognises that that's not his game, then he's not going to do it, is he? He's going to play the ball and let the ball do the work. And they always used to say to me in amateur football, or to anyone in amateur football, the ball can travel faster than you can, so why are you dribbling with it that far? So this is kind of what to expect then from somebody like Sam Steijn. Now, on Transfermarkt, he is valued at around 10 million euros. Now, 10 million euros in pounds is probably a lot less than that. It's about 8 million pounds. And there's potentially a deal to be done there for around 7 to 8 million pounds. But I think it would be a good signing. I do. I think what you lack in his ability to carry the ball, dribble the ball, and come forward with it, I think you make up for that with Brenden Aaronson, who you've got on the bench. I think they'll complement each other well. I think playing in the same side as Brenden Aaronson could be a good thing as well, because he can do the ball carrying for him and make those runs. I think Dan James running in behind, Nonto coming short and getting the ball. I think having somebody like Sam Steijn in the team would affect Leeds positively, but there are questions there over, do we need somebody who has that final pass in them? The ball into the final third, the killer pass that gets the assist. Do we need somebody more like that? Now, Sam Steijn, he probably would get a few assists. He's not the same as GEORGINIO in terms of getting all those assists that he got last season. So there's potential that we need to look for somebody else. But I think there comes a point where we do need to be quite realistic about what the Championship can attract and what we can get in the Championship. And I don't think you're going to get somebody who's the all-round package. Somebody with really good long passing, somebody also who is able to play the ball into the final third and create assists, and somebody who's able to carry and dribble the ball as well. I think it's going to be very difficult to get all of those aspects in one player, because I think if they were, they'd go into the Premier League, or they'd be going to a higher league certainly than the Championship. So what I'm trying to look at here is complementing characteristics. Brenden Aaronson, Sam Steijn, they kind of yin and yang. They kind of complement each other's weaknesses and et cetera, et cetera. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Tomorrow there'll be a bit of a news video regarding Leeds United, so look out for that on the channel. Make sure you stay subscribed. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately though, and I'll see you in the next one.